You're listening to the Back Road Radio Show, and I'm your host, Andrew Funky. And though I am always super excited when we have a special guest on the show, I am super, super excited because we have one of the favorite artists of Deacon Tim and I on the Back Road Radio Show. It's Miss Tift Merritt on the Back Road Radio Show. Welcome, Tift.
Thank you for having me. That's so kind of you. I really appreciate that.
It's sincere. We spin your songs actually quite a bit and love to play it.
Thank you.
So, well, let's just dive right in. I've taken time out of your busy day to chit-chat with us. I know you have been really, really busy lately. I was doing some research, looking into some of the things you've got going on. A lot of touring. I know there's a new album out. Why don't we start with the touring? You've been doing, there's some solo touring, but you're touring with some other people and have been all summer. What's the story behind all that?
Well, I've been out with Mary Chapin Carpenter this summer, doing a bunch of dates with her by myself, and then this fall I am putting a new record out, and so I'll be out with my own band, my full band then. And then in November, I'm actually going to go out on tour with Justin Townes-Earle, which I'm really excited about too. So there's a lot on the books. Yeah,
I'd say. So I mean, and that you're squeezing that solo tour in between the Mary Chapin Carpenter and the Justin Townes-Earle stuff, right?
Well, this when you say the solo tour, you mean my own tour? Because
yeah.
I won't really be. Yes, it's yes, but I won't be solo. I'll be with my full band.
Oh, sure. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You as the headliner,
Yeah.
I guess I would say. So.
Yes.
Well, the new album, Traveling Alone, I know you said that, I believe that comes out on October 2nd. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. What is the story or the background behind that? I always like asking artists kind of what is their inspiration for an album. Some do it more as just a collection of songs. Here's my snapshot in time. Some have more of a theme behind the entire thing. And especially with you as such a good songwriter, I'm really curious as to what is the inspiration for that?
Well, I think it's really important to not be too rigid about what you're going to do thematically. It has to be organic, but at a certain moment, what you are working on sort of shows itself. And I think that this record was really about sort of, on one hand, facing the limitations of time and life, and sort of trying to become the person or the artist that I wanted to become right this moment, like this very moment, and being extremely comfortable with that, and very in a very self-possessed way, making I wanted the writing to really have an edge and to be extremely honest and to have a lot of guts and depth. But I also wanted it to be really comfortable with itself, especially when we went into the studio.
Sure.
I've made records where we had the privilege of staying in the studio for maybe a month, but this time I'm very interested in things not being perfect, things being real and raw, and being really comfortable with myself as a musician, just the way that I am. And part of that was because, I was trying to make this record by myself, and that was a very exciting thing, and there was a lot of freedom, and it made everything very simple because I just did what I wanted to do. But on the other hand, it was very daunting and scary too, because there was no one holding my hand and there was no one handing me some money. So it was a really, I don't know, I think it was a very sober and self-possessed experience, and that was what I wanted it to be. And I think traveling alone, I'm sorry that I'm talking way too long.
No,
but
keep going.
Traveling alone, I do a lot of traveling alone, but that isn't really what this record is about. It's more a metaphor for inner life. And I think that one of the best ways to talk about life as a writer, or, life as a seeker, or, life in its fullest way is you're really on a journey and you're traveling, and I think there is a physical day-to-day component, real-world component of that, but there's also this sense of inner terrain, and I think that that's a very hard place to talk about. And I think that was part of where this record wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So it was one of those deals where the songs just almost end up pointing in a direction after a while, kind of on their own in terms of what they're trying to say.
Absolutely, and I really, I don't know that anyone else will get this from listening to the record, but I actually wanted to think about it in terms of chapters or towns that you hit on the way. Like I wanted each song to kind of be a new destination on a cowboy journey, and you got to this town and you looked around and night fell and somebody beat you up or whatever it is. But I felt like I really clearly wanted this record to start in one place and finish in another.
Yeah. Okay, great. So there is a journey. It's a destination in a sense. That's great.
And I think that all records should have, I think even a song, you begin at point A and you have a question or a series of events and you end at point B or maybe even further down the road. And I think that sense of traveling a distance is really important, whether it's a physical one or an emotional one. And I do think that that's really all of my records. I hope do that. But this one, it was a little bit more overt.
Well, now did you produce this album yourself as well? Was this?
I didn't produce it. Tucker Martin produced it, but I was very heavy-handed in it. Maybe I was the executive producer.
See, there you go, the executive producer. It's a great position to be in.
Yes.
Well, actually, I would like, if I may, to spin the song "Sweet Spot" off the album on our show. I saw that it was available for download, and I did so, and it was great. So I think it'd be great to let people get a sneak peek of what the song sounds like, if that's okay with you.
I would be happy to. In fact, you can cut this part out of the radio show or not, but I can send you the record.
I will take that, yes.
Okay.
Just make sure you write Deacon Tim on the top.
Yeah. Yes, please. That would be wonderful.
All right. Yes.
So, but the song "Sweet Spot," I can kind of see in what you've talked about with the album how "Sweet Spot" fits in to that overall theme. But what is the story behind that song?
Well, I think that is very much one of the sort of cornerstone themes of this record, and I think this, part of the story would be that I'm 37 years old, and I really don't care what anyone thinks anymore. Mm-hmm. If I ever did to begin with, but it's even less now. And I think that's a really great place to be. And I was thinking about, how I come to my work and how I come to my life, and I always, I try to try hard. I try to be generous. I try to give as much as I can, and I think artistically there's always an instinct to reach, and to reach someplace that you've never been, to reach further than you have. And this moment in my life and this particular record, I didn't think it was the time for reaching. I thought it was the time for sort of burrowing down into the essentials of what I do, what I like to do, and what I do best, and be just extremely down in that and comfortable with that, and like, you know what, this is what I do in a very crystallized way, and that's enough. It wasn't a moment for reaching. It was a moment for being in the sweet spot of what I do. No need for versatility. Let's just be who we are and not think about it much more than that.